Government. Not governed by government. True, to some extent not. It's an organization set up by individuals in the society. Sometimes it is governed by the organization, sometimes it is not. But it has to be registered under Societies Act or a Trust Act to start with. Later, Income Tax Act also is coming to picture if you want to go for a 12-year registration or 18. So, indirectly, government puts up the regulations as per the Act. So, all NGOs have to abide by the regulations as per the Income Tax Act as well as the Karnataka Societies Act or Trust Act. So, why NGOs are being set up? Any idea? What is the purpose of NGO? So you understand what is NGO. What is the purpose of NGO? How? This is not a profit motive. I mean, the government service or if the government is giving the service, but it is not in the corner of the people like tribal and sometimes the poverty issues like the malnutrition. Okay. Those can be reached by the as a mediator. Okay. It actually catalyst. Any other view? What is the purpose of point is not it? Any other purposes?
Okay.
Because government directly they cannot approach the people on the ground level. But if there is a person in the middle, they can usually go arrange everything. Like you can reach the ground part easily.
Okay. So why do you think government cannot reach each and every section of the system? Because that's the purpose of the government.
Yes.
Agree with me or not?
Yes.
The purpose of the government is to ensure the tax money reaches to the needy people, and it comes back to the people who pay the tax. Right? The government runs also on the money that has been received through taxes, right? Whether it's the direct tax or indirect tax. The government is a mediator, not an NGO, right? But today's context is little different. I think what you said is right. But the government is supposed to act as a middleman. But unfortunately, it is not the case. To some extent, it is happening. But it is not possible with the 1.3 billion population in India. It is very difficult for government organizations. That for example, there are you must have heard about Kannada Abhiruddhi Pradhikara and then Sahitya Parishatu, Karnataka Rajya Vigyana Parishatu, right? Kala Parishatu. There are a lot of with a different purpose. There is a set of celebrity. It started by somebody in a social activism, but later it got governed directly by the government. Any government activity, any activities that run by KRVP, Karnataka Rajya Vigyana Parishatu, it is governed by the government. Elections happens like any other ward or constituency, right? And all the programs are completely governed by the government. So like that, there are multiple stakeholders and the multiple stages of any NGO setup. Like that, so there is one NGO called Discussion Class, which has been started in 1974, which was not an organization, it was an informal education. Later it became an NGO in 2013. So that's such an NGO. Archana is going to speak about that. She is one of the founding member of the NGO from 2013, which now she is a treasurer, which has been continuing for many years and enabling a lot of students. Yeah. Okay.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Archana. So yeah, I work in a IT company. Okay. And I hail from a place called Bhadravati. It's in Shimoga district. You might have heard about Shimoga at least, if you have not heard about Bhadravati. Or anybody is from Bhadravati here? Shimoga. Shimoga, Bhadravati are twin cities. That is what they are called. So in 1999, back in 1999, I was in 9th standard. Okay. And somebody told me about something called discussion class. A person who came to our place, my father's friend, I remember his name Vasu Mama, that is what we used to call him. He came to our place and said, "Hey, Magal in discussion class, Kalsu." That is what he said. He told my father. So in 1999, when I had cleared my 8th standard exams in the holidays, what we get, right? The 2 month of gap of April and May. So my father took me to discussion class. So I met GK Sardar or Gopal Krishna Murthy. This was our teacher. Okay, he was not professionally a teacher. He was actually working in LIC, but he had a passion for teaching. He was very good in chemistry. He used to teach us chemistry till today. I remember this is how he used to do. ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೊಡೆದ್ರು ಐರನ್ ನಾನ್ ಐರನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Why does it say? Because it is an element. That is how he taught us the difference between an element or a compound, an atom, all those electron, proton. Even today, I remember the structure of glucose because of him. That is how he grew up. And when I met him in 1999 for the first time, he gave me one card. That was a New Year time. So any child who used to come to his place, he used to give a card. And when I opened the card, there was a quote written in it, which says, anybody who stops learning at an age of 20 or 80 grows old. And anybody who continues to learn remains young at any age. And there is no age bar for learning. So first day when I went there itself, he kind of removed that fear of growing old. So till today, I always feel I'm at 15 or 16. I never consider myself older than that. So that was the impact of discussion class. So what discussion class did? Discussion class actually enables students to help each other. Like when I was in 9th, 10th standard or first PU students used to come and teach me. Maths, science, or whatever they were good at. Social studies, whoever was good at social studies, they used to teach that. That is how that, that was not an NGO, it was just a house. It was his house. Initially, he started in a small car shed office, and finally, it grew into one big house. And that is where we used to go and study together. It was like discussion mode of learning. Today, we have multiple words for it, a pedagogy practice. I think it is part of our education policy, which has come up this year. So all these have come. But back then, he started it in 1974 when I was not born. But it continued, and there were so many seniors who used to come and inspire us. So that is what was happening at Bhadravati. That is, this is after and then wife. Okay, and he always said, by the students, for the students, and of the students. Discussion class is only for students, and we didn't till today pay anything to be part of discussion class, and neither our seniors who came to us morning 6 o'clock to teach us paid anything. I mean, in coaching centers, though we pay so much, we go late. But I never saw my seniors coming late, though it was for free, and we were all kind of encouraged and enabled to study. So that was concept of discussion class, which used to happen in Bhadravati. So that was something on the background of discussion class. So then what happened is, so I think I'll go to the next slide first. So I think whatever I spoke about is part of this slide. Okay. And life is a mixture of a lot of things today. Anytime. So in 2013, unfortunately, in a road accident, we lost our son and his wife together. So that was something, nobody thought of. But life is like that, unpredictable. So that is what happened. And then few of us who were part of DC and who were kind of always respecting Daisy came together and thought we will kind of do this activity and maybe but in Bangalore we cannot run it without registering. Nobody will believe us if I say come to my home, I'll teach you, nobody will come. Because Bhadravati was a small place, by word of mouth things can happen, but not in Bangalore. So what we did, we registered it as an NGO. But I would like to quote one thing here. We would have learned this dohe in our school or college, where we would have Kabir ke dohe. गुरु गोविंद दोनों कड़े काके लागू पाए बलिहारी गुरु आपने गोविंद दियो बताए. So it is a path which Gopal Krishnamurthy sir taught us, that we should help people. That is how we kind of give back to society. There are runa, that is what we study in Samskrita. Matra runa, pitru runa, samaj runa. So if we don't give back these runas, so we have not lived our life to an extent which we have to live. So, Matra Runa, Pitru Runa is something we can never give back, is what they say. But Samajada Runa, that I think we can give back to a certain extent. That is what I have learned from my Sanskrit teachers. So that is what, Gopal Krishna sir never taught me Sanskrit or anything like this, but the way he lived taught me that we'll have to give back to society. in a way which is possible from me. I mean, I need not build something very big and kind of bring in so many people, start helping them. That is not a possibility. So in a way, I can do it, I should start doing. So that is where he kind of motivated us, and we all came together to form this association in 2013 in Bangalore. Yeah, I think benefits of discussion class, I think you might all know. The way when we study together in a discussion mode. I mean, you are from Shimoga. Have you heard of discussion class? No. Okay. So what happens is, now, see, when I'm studying with my friend or at my home with my sister or with my brother, it's easy, right? If something is wrong, we hit each other, learn something. But when you're with a teacher, I mean, I'm not saying it is wrong. We need a guru in life for sure. But sometimes when you're learning together, it is easier to learn. Because when my son sits with me now, because of all this online class, for me it's easy, 1 plus 2 is 3. But in class, sometimes he might get that fear of asking why 1 plus 2 is 3. But when we're with our friends who are of our own age or maximum 1 or 2 years elder or younger to us, it's easy to communicate and kind of help each other or kind of understand. So, yeah, and what happens is, there is no fear, that is what I said, and helps to develop and improve presentation and communication skills. That is also sure, because if I have to make some 10 students sit in front of me and I have to use the board and write something there, I need some kind of self-confidence in me that what I'm writing should be correct, because they should not learn something wrong from me. One thing is, it enables me to learn first properly, because if I will teach 1 plus 2 is 4, then after 2 days nobody will come, correct? So what I am teaching, I should be learning properly. And then anybody who is kind of sitting there will also have that agenda. I should also become like this one day and start helping my juniors or my friends. So that is how presentation and communication skills were also kind of improving day by day. When I have to stand in front of people, I'll definitely prepare for it. Yeah, leadership qualities, yes, because you're grouping people, you're standing in front of them, definitely leadership qualities will improve. So that is how we worked back then. And now I'll come to what we are doing today as a registered NGO. So we are registered in 2013. Okay, as I said, after our sir passed away, we registered as an NGO and we named it as Discussion Class Association. Okay. And it was an alumni association of DC students. I mean, that time we didn't have any reach to any other people around. We knew our seniors, we knew our batchmates. We started kind of sending messages to them via WhatsApp, Gmail, however, and we started connecting and we started this NGO. And now we are 7 years, so 2013 to 2020, 7 years of operation. And we have been providing charity services in education, environment, healthcare, and also scholarships. That's what I mentioned. So we have divided our services into 4 parts. So we are giving it as scholarships. We are also helping or enabling students in education. We are also helping we are also involved in environmental services. And I'll give you some brief on what we are doing in each field and also in the healthcare part. I mean, this is just a statistics on how we have grown through the years. Okay. So, I mean, all of you are very serious. Am I being very... okay. I mean, stop me if you're not enjoying it. Okay. So, number of students. Initially, when we started in 2013, we met only 2 students, Sindhu and Uma. Okay. They were studying in BMS Engineering College and we supported them. That was the beginning of how we started helping people. And slowly it grew, and in 2020 we could support 65 people. So 65 students. And here we are genuinely verifying them. We personally go to their houses and see they are in trouble. I mean, only on the financial front. They are very good in their studies. They don't have any other hiccup or anything in their life other than the financial hiccup. So that is where we are just enabling. I mean, I will not say we give them everything, but whatever is possible from our end, we give it to them and support them. That is what we have been doing. So this, I mean, that is, I think, the figures on the money which has been distributed. I think the figure speaks it. Yeah, these are few snippets from the scholarship services which happen every year. We call it Pratibha Puraskara. And every year in July, which is the Guru Purnima week of July, we'll have this in a way wherein we are doing the Vandana to our Guru. and also kind of distributing the scholarships. So scholarship services, I think we had, this time we had it online as well. So this is where we had a guru who could kind of give his motivational words to the students, and then we distributed all the funds online by transferring the money. But earlier we used to hand over the checks when they used to come to the program. So this is our Guru Vandana program. Okay, and we see all the students and their parents come to that program, and they receive the scholarships. And then I'll come to the services which we are into. I spoke about few services, right? Education services, healthcare. Yeah. So in that education services, what are we doing? So we were all kind of benefited by the way we studied. By the way, till today, I remember my economics when I was, later on I took science, but when I was in my high school, it was very difficult for me to kind of study social studies. History or something was fine, but if I had to study economics, it was very difficult for me. One of my friend by name Divya, she helped me. Because of her, I can openly say, because of her, I cleared economics in my 10th standard. So that is how we got benefited by discussion mode or that kind of practice. So that is where we started enabling DC centers wherever possible. So there are few centers already in Bangalore today. So that is something, and also across Karnataka. So there is a student by name Bhargavi who started as, she was our student, and she kind of got inspired by the way of learning. So she started giving these classes in Bhatkala. Similarly, a lady by name Sinchana has started a class in Shimoga. Okay, so that is how students got motivated, and they themselves started it in their own homes or in their school areas or wherever they meet. So they have started, and we started enabling the students, saying, okay, come on, let's do it. And this is possible because we are a live example of what has happened and how it has helped all of us. That is something we started kind of motivating students. And other things, I think you can read those. We had one book publication about our sir. I think we have given it to your Somshekhar sir. You can check that. And then we do some book donations. If somebody gives us some books, we make sure that it goes to the needy, and we verify and give all the books to whoever actually needs it. And then mentor-mentee program, and we get into that wherein we can help few students by getting, even in 2020 when everything was closed, we had these online teaching classes, which many teachers who volunteered and said, we will help your students. So that way we met so many good people. When you get into some good thing, there are people who support you. So we got such people, and they started helping our students. Okay. So and then workshops, all this, any such competitions, and we started going to some prodigy kids. It was a small, I think, kind of a preschool kind of a thing, in that place as well we started doing it. We met few people there, and even there people were interested, so they also got into this mode of learning. I spoke about webinars, and recently we also saw the need. What was happening was this online class. It is good because of the situation we are into. Online class is good, but all of us don't have an Android enabled, Apple enabled phones. All of us don't have a tab. All of us don't have a laptop. So how do we enable such students for studies? Because study has nothing to do with Corona, correct? All of us are equally kind of in a need for education. So that way we enabled students, whatever was possible, we definitely donated few laptops and tabs, both in Bangalore as well as Shimoga location, wherein there is a place called Madhavanele in Shimoga, where we have our DC center head Raksha Rao, who works there she stays in Shimoga. So she takes care of all Shimoga activities. She went there and kind of distributed it. By collecting as and kind of donation from others and kind of giving it to them. So such things happen over the education services. I think there should be some pictures to depict this. Yeah. I think these were the education services pictures. There should be a, yes, I think majorly on this. Yeah. And I think there are few sessions conducted even in Narendra Nale in Bangalore. You might have heard about Narendra Nale, right? It is actually, I think, an initiative of Ramakrishna Matala, Hindu Seva Parishad. They have this Narendra Nale, wherein they will keep all these orphan kids and kind of help them. So we have also done our we have gone there and kind of helped the students to learn, and we have also motivated them to kind of have a discussion with them and study together. However, they stay together there. The similar thing is Madhava Nilay in Shimoga. Even there, children are orphans and they stay there. I think few more pictures we have, wherein we have a depiction on what all was done as part of education services. You have any question? I came back. I'm new to this way of.
Probably I want to make it more interactive. I think people are very silent, lunchtime, right? Able to go home, right? Excellent. Can you go back to the previous picture?
Okay.
Scholarship. Yeah, one second. Can you identify the personalities on the? Can you go to the PPT now? Can anybody identify the personality? Say, being an IAS officer, if you want to become an IAS, it's important to stay with the current affairs, right? You need to get updated yourself with the current affairs, what is happening, who are the important personalities in the societies, right? Can you, anybody identify who is the person? I think the picture is very blurred. Can you identify who is this person? I know it's very little chatting.
This is the maximum, I think.
So he's Swamiji Ganeshananda Saraswati ji of Ramakrishna Math. He's an excellent orator, excellent students counselor, students enabler, and he's the president of Ramakrishna. Okay. And who is this person? Can you see this? Can you see he doesn't have one hand working? He doesn't have two legs working. Can you identify who is this person? Only one hand working, two legs not working. He's always on wheelchair. His name is Dr. M.K. Sridhar. He is the Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University earlier. And today he is a member committee of National Education Policy. How many of you heard about National Education Policy, which was rolled out? Right? Central government has rolled out a National Education Policy. Right? He is the committee member in National Education Policy and also member of the committee in UGSC. All our academic books and all the university government, right? UGSC is the body. So he is a member of the UGSC. He is Dr. M.K. Sridhar. Who is this person? I think you must know this. If you don't know, you are not supposed to be here. Who is this person? Huh? IPS and Amalya. Who is this person? I think she should be known to everyone in this person. Who is this? She is being known for honesty. She is known for integrity. She is
Correct.
Rupa Modular. Who is this person? Okay,
So it's not clear.
Oh, it's not very clear. Okay. Super high.
Is last year.
This person, PPT mode in the hospital.
Okay.
PPT mode in the beda. Mamuli mode jo hogi. Percentage increase. Now can you identify? You can see the organization name also on the top. She is Tejaswini Anand Kumar. How many of you know Anand Kumar? Our MP from Bangalore, so that her wife, and she is also the founder of another NGO called Adamya Seva. They are working in the field of education, providing food and environment. Okay. The reason I am trying to put together is, being a student of a UPSC exam writing, you should all know the important personalities, okay, and important organizations that are driving in the society. Okay? Very important, current affairs.
Well, previous one. That's all we had.
Yeah. Can you identify this person? Yeah. Who is this? How many of you know about ISRO? Huh? How many of you know ISRO?
All of them.
All of them know ISRO, right? That's the pride of India. Correct? Who is this? He's been the head and chairman of ISRO for quite some time. Doctor Radha. Identify this person. Probably you may not be know, but he is also in your cadre. He is also IPS officer. Okay. The reason I am trying to put together is because these are the guys who studied UPSC exams, cleared it, okay, become IAS and IPS officers. Okay, and most of them are working in the society for the people and helping the society in their own way of how can they do it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Done it. Next up is, I don't think we have any famous people.
So these are some of the activities that we continue. I just wanted to make you a little more lively. I thought
Okay, so I spoke about this online classes, right? This is how it took place, see, with the mask. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Moving on to the environment service. I mean, maybe then we can keep it at this environment services. What do you think we can do as part of environment services? I'll not open this right now. Pollution control. How will you do it? By not buying a vehicle or? Plantation. Yes, good. Creating awareness on plastics. Correct. Yeah. One single time use plastics we can avoid. Yeah. Then recycling. Yes, plastic recycling. What else can you recycle other than plastic? I mean, I'm not saying everything is done by discussion class association, but I'm just discussing. Can you recycle water? Sewage water treatment, yes, that we can do. Then what else you can do with water? Rainwater harvesting you can do. Correct? Then what else can you do with the environment part? How can you help? I mean, actually, how can we help ourselves so that we'll have a good environment?
Small twist to her question. Which is the government body who takes care of water supply in Bangalore? Which is the government body who is responsible and accountable to ensure you get a water at your home? Which is the body. Where do you all stay? Vijayanagar, Jayanagar, Vijayanagar. Okay. How do you get the water at your home? Through borewell or through Kaveri water, right? Kaveri water everybody gets at home.
Yeah.
You drink Kaveri water, no? Who is the organization? Which is the organization which is supplying water to your home? Yes, come on. You drink water Kaveri every day. Without Kaveri water, you can't live. Sorry, without water, you can't live, right?
You don't get those bills, the water bills? Yeah.
One second.
You're not from here, okay.
No, you're not staying here. Oh, okay. You're all staying. You are from other places and staying here, right? Okay. That's fine. So, which is the body which is managing this Bangalore? Okay, let's come to the point one by one. Which is the body which is managing Bangalore municipal? Right? So, like that, for water supply or water management, there is a body called BWSSB. BWSSB. Alva? They also take care of CS and also water power. These are the two important primary responsibilities. Which is the organization which provides you power? Your fan is running.
DESCOM.
So, I'm trying to connect you the dots. I know you guys are from other places in your, places there may be different bodies. But when you are studying here, try to understand the location where we are sitting and understand what the government bodies and their functions are.
So, I mean, here I'm just highlighting what we did from our organization. I mean, not all examples which we discussed we might have worked upon. We worked upon 3 plantations. We did the seed ball thing. I mean, you'll have, you guys have been to seed ball? Movies.
Not that simple.
Mannolage seed, correct. So it was organized in Baswangudi, that big park is there, no? KR Rao Park. Anybody knows Baswangudi KR Rao Park? Nobody. So it was organized there by some, I think from, I don't know, I don't remember the
10
NGO.
NGOs combined together and created almost like 1 lakh seed work, and then we tossed in after that.
So that you can and tossed it there. So that is something which all of us can do. So that will, in a way, if you put it there, because of rain or something, it will be taken care of. You need not kind of completely take care of thousands of them. Maybe you can plant 1 or 2 near your house and kind of take care of them. That also few of us have done. Okay, tree multiplication, tree planting. And poster-free trees. I mean, everywhere we see, right, there are a lot of poster put on these trees. And when they're doing it, they use the nails to kind of fix them on the trees, which actually does not help the tree. You know? Yeah. What happens if I put a nail to a tree? The nail gets the rust, yes, but what happens to the tree? Correct. It starts deteriorating. The life of the tree will be reduced. It cannot handle such artificial things on it. Correct? But it can handle a woodpecker doing it, but not a nail. So that is what we should always be close to nature to keep it the way it is. If a woodpecker does that, or if a squirrel makes a burrow in it, that doesn't trouble the tree. But if we are putting a nail onto it, we trouble the tree. So we should know the difference, because I have seen people asking, a woodpecker is doing, why can't I put? No. There is a difference between how the nature is set up by God and the way we are trying to manipulate nature. So that is something we should always avoid. Okay. And then Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, we did all these cleaning activities in few areas, and also tree planting. All those were done as part of environment services. And then free steel plate bank. So this was done in Dhananjay Anna's apartment only. What they did is, when these kids have their parties, what happens is cake and chips are served in this paper plate or on plastic plates or aluminium foil, all this. And what do we do after that? We throw them. And such actually plates are not biodegradable. And it takes years to kind of, I mean, even if something they say biodegradable, it is not something which will be easily biodegraded the way we put our food waste. It is not like that. It takes years to do that. So what they did is, they brought a steel bank in a way. I mean, they kept all steel plates, glasses, whatever is needed for that party in his house. And he started distributing it to whoever has the party in the apartment. Whenever there is a kids party or any namkarana or any small event which is happening in the apartment, so they can lend that and then come and give it back.
Free.
Free. No. Okay. So those were a few things which we did, kind of hands-on on environment. I mean, we cannot do everything. I cannot go and say I will clean this entire Bangalore. No, that is not possible. But I will at least do my bits on it, wherein I can at least help myself. By doing any environment service, I will not help anybody else. Keep that in mind. By keeping the environment clean, I'll help myself.
I think Archana is trying to tell you one very important aspect, right? You guys are all preparing for IAS. Right? After this, once you clear IAS or IPS exam or KAS exam, you will become an administrator. Right? Agree? You become an IAS officer or IPS officer or a KAS officer, right? Or engineering, if you write IES, engineering services, you become executive engineers, right? So as an administrator, what's your role? As an administrator of a body, what is your responsibility? Suppose, for example, you become an administrator in BBMP. You become an IAS officer who controls, for example, BBMP commissioner is an IAS officer. Right? So you become an IAS officer and become a commissioner of BBMP. What is your responsibility to ensure to take control of BBMP? What's your primary responsibility as an administrator? Law and order. Okay. On the side. Yeah, what next? As an administrator, what is your responsibility? As a commissioner of district, yeah, it's important. But as a BBMP, let's take an example. BBMP is meant for what? BBMP is meant for maintaining the city's municipal corporation. Okay? What is explained in the BBMP? Mahanagara Palike. So primary responsibility ensure all the facilities are provided to the common citizens of the city. Okay? So that administration, we can control better way. Can we control the police department? Okay. The jurisdictions are different. These operations are different. What she's trying to tell you is, by doing small things, I can make a huge difference in my own area of interest. Correct? So if you become an IAS officer in particular segment, then you do justice to that particular job in your own way. Right? Somebody becomes another IAS officer in another segment. So you try to become, the best IAS officer or the powerful position in that particular section, and you ensure that honesty, integrity is being maintained being an honest officer. Correct? That is very important. And today's world is completely changing. It is not like 19th century where everything chalta hai attitude is not anywhere in any public services. Public services are being questioned very rapidly, very frequently and publicly. In the earlier world, what we call it as Babuji's world, so I'm just using some of the familiar words. You may be familiar, you might be watching some of the Hindi movies and all. If an IAS officer is sitting, people used to go and stand, Babuji mera kaam karwa do, right? So that Babuji world is not anymore in the current generation and is going to be future generation. It is all about accountability, transparency and integrity of the services is what is expected in the government sector. You must have observed in last 10 to 15 years, lot of things have become digitized. Have you observed? Last 10 years back, if you want to get a caste certificate or you want to get any certificate from the government authority, you have to go and visit the places and then write an application and then stamp it and then go and give and whatever is the case, right? And then you have to get back after some time, right? But now it is not the world. You get it everything on the fly. We are all living in a digital world. That is why I'm always focusing on important words: transparency, honesty, and integrity. These are the three important words each IAS aspirant and IPS aspirant should be keep that in mind. Okay? And know the limits. As you are mentioning, if I'm doing something service to environment, whom I am doing in service, it is for myself, not for somebody else. So if you want to do a service, you always keep that in mind. Being a government servant, your job is to serve the people. Service is the only motto of any administrator. So that is the world, it is changing. And if you go to Western countries, right, you don't see a difference between an administrator versus a common man. Correct? So in India, it was long back, it was a Babuji's world, but now it is also slowly changing because of the accountability and transparency because of the digital world. Right? A lot of things are changing, and if you are not adapted to this change, we will not be in the race. You got what I'm saying? So please develop this honesty, integrity, and transparency in your studies now. What is important for you guys to do? You guys are here because of what? You have a passion of what? To become what? IAS officer or an IPS officer, whoever, exactly, right? So you have a passion to become. You came here not just because your papa, mama, or anybody else paid around, some amount of money and saying, ask Jain sir to go and admit in topper IAS academy, and then you will become a topper, right? No. Okay? You have a passion to become administrator. Keep that in mind. And these three aspects, honestly study. Right? Your job here is to study honestly. Put all your heart and soul to succeed in the examination. Okay? And integrity. Ensure that you don't get into the malpractices of anything else in clearing the examination. You do put your effort and ensure that integrity is being maintained. And transparency. Correct? Be transparent with your parents, be transparent with your friends, and be transparent with your guidance teachers. It's very important. Suppose sir has told you to study this subject, say economics or sociology or whatever subject yesterday, please come back with the questions if you are not understand, if you are unable to study it well, and update to sir. So that transparency, if you keep with the teacher, you will succeed. Okay, it is very important. You guys all are here for becoming an administrator, and it is very important you are honest to yourself. If you are not honest to yourself, you can't be honest to anybody else in the world. Correct? So your job is to study and clear IAS examination as per such direction. Follow teacher's direction. If you follow teacher direction, you will definitely succeed in life. You are good, you got an excellent teacher who can guide you, and he is being in the government service and he left his government job to make you guys to become an IAS officer. Understand the difference? You guys are here for becoming what? IAS officer for yourself. But sir has left his government job to make you guys become an IAS officer. See the difference? That's the fundamental difference between individual aspirations versus a teacher. A teacher always enables his students to come up in life. But my point, please keep these three important things.
Yeah, I think there are some pictures of the environment services which we spoke about. That is the seed ball thing, the second picture. I think you guys would have been involved or seen somewhere, whatever you said. And that is a steel plant, a steel plant from Bhadravati, so that word comes easily. The steel plate bank. So that's the steel plate bank. So that is, those are the plates and spoons and glasses which we used, and which Anna used to distribute, and they used to bring it back after the event is done. So this is a image of that. Yeah. And then we also kind of work on healthcare services. So, I mean, she here, she is from Discussion Class Association and Alumni, but she is a doctor by profession. So this one, she enables a lot of students by giving a lot of lectures on adolescent health. I mean, what happens is, nearby Shimoga and Bhadravati, we have two small villages and places wherein, I mean, ladies are not aware of the hygiene which they have to maintain during the menstruation or during the pregnancy or any kind of regular healthcare things. So she generally does that by going to those places and giving an awareness. And here we see few blood donation camps which have happened, wherein we have actively donated blood, and we have organized these blood donation camps and given it to respective bodies who kind of collect it and give it to required people. So that is one. And on Yoga Day, International Yoga Day, I mean, all DC students are an enthusiast of yoga. So every time, if they're even in a different place, they'll make a video or a picture and send it to us saying they're performing yoga. How many of you like yoga here? Or how many of you do yoga every day? Nobody, huh? Any kind of exercise, walking, jogging, running, walking, jogging, good. Any kind of exercise. But maybe you can practice yoga, that really helps. Okay. Some part of health and hygiene campaigns are already said, and medical camps as well. Few things were done, like basic medical facilities were given, or kind of some help on majorly on awareness of, or maybe an awareness on something which they don't know, is what something was an agenda of whenever we went for healthcare services. Okay. So have you guys been part of any healthcare service? Have you, or you would have donated your blood in college when you have? All of you have done? Very good. Anything else you have done in healthcare? Because most of us would have done, because I remember giving blood in college days. Anything else you did as part of your college studies or? No? Okay. When we were in school and college, we used to get these campaigns wherein they used to come in groups, because I think that time back then we were not much aware of the menstruation health the way we are aware today. So I remember many people coming to school, even to our school, and giving us some data and information on how we can handle menstruation in a better way. Such things did not happen for you girls in the school? Yeah, I mean, those are, you were part of those, right? Those are part of health services only. Okay.
So I think when I try to, Archana is trying to explain what services that we can do into the society. Okay? I'm trying to link that services back to your studies. You're trying to defend it, right? You're trying to help ourselves by doing service. But at the same time, being an administrator, being an IAS officer, what challenges that you face in healthcare services? How many of you visited government hospitals? You all visited. Okay. So what the fundamental differences you see between government hospital versus a private hospital? Can anybody see? Infrastructure, especially doctors available, right? But whether it is a government hospital or a private hospital, the services should be the same, right? Because here for the government organization, the funding comes from that individual tax money. Right? Whatever we earn, we pay 30% at direct tax. How many of you are aware of the tax calculations, right? That's also one of the subjects in your general knowledge. So every individual who earns has to pay direct tax depending on the tax plan. Correct? And there is something called indirect taxes in India. Correct? You purchase something, GST and all, right? And also if you purchase petrol, diesel, there is also tax. Whatever you purchase, there is a tax. Yes, those are called indirect taxes. There is something called direct tax. Not many businessmen will pay, by the way. People who are administrators need to know what are the challenges in the society. How many of you know what is the percentage of direct tax being paid in India? Direct tax percentage, let's not worry about the numbers. Okay, even I don't remember. But how many of you know what is the percentage of the population of earnings who are earning are paying direct tax? Less than 5% of the people who are eligible to pay the direct tax are not paying. Only 5%, less than 5% are paying the tax. That means our rest of the 95% are not earning. They are earning. Is only 5% of the people has to pay the tax? Absolutely no. These are some of the challenges being an IAS officer. Suppose you could become an IRS officer, right? Revenue commissioner, revenue secretary to revenue service. Then that's one of the important aspects. You need to remember this. Okay, this number, these are very important. It has drastically, not drastically, it has increased over a period of time. It has 1% sometime back. From 1% now it has reached around 4%. But is it enough? Definitely not. Anybody in this country is earning is supposed to pay the tax honestly. That's why I always tag honesty, integrity, and transparency. These are the three important things that should be in your blood for an administrator. So how do you, these are some of the challenges, right? How do you fix it? If you are an honest officer, you will do that. If you are an integrated officer, you have the values in you, will make it happen, right? And if you keep it transparent, for example, whatever the money that as an IR you collect money, you be transparent with your next organization, right? So keep the transparency on all layers. That is exactly what makes you fundamental difference between a normal officer versus a person like what I showed the pictures of, right? These are the people who are we are connected with because it matches with our ideology. Okay? Out of these 25 people, if 3 people become IAS, 3 people become IAS, 3 people become IPS officer, please remember, know your jurisdiction and follow these three important steps. Challenges are there in every field. Okay? There are lots of political challenges, lot of bureaucratic challenges, lot of things will come into picture whenever anybody wants to make a change. Correct? But this change is not possible. Yes, it is possible. But try to make a change slowly, not immediately. Any immediate reaction, if some small kid is eating the chocolate, okay, I will give you a small example. In your families, a small kid is eating the chocolate. Try to go and take away the chocolate from the kid. What will happen? Huh? It will cry, and it will ensure it will get back the chocolate. Have you observed? Correct? So this is exactly what happens when we try to make a change in the system drastically. Whereas, go and approach a kid saying that, Maga, taste right? Slowly, smoothly, and politely. Use all your negotiation skills, use your interpersonal skills, and attract the kid and get away from the chocolate. Make sense? Or ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಡನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಡನ್ ಕೊಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮುದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿ ಇಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೋ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇದೆಯಾ? Make sense? So this is exactly how we need to bring the change in the system. We know some of the systems are not working, but how do we make a change? Make the change slowly. Okay? Don't get into the drastic mode of I will change everything and become an IAS. Is it possible? Definitely not possible. I can write it on papers, but it is possible over a period of time. Changes are happening. Changes are happening at the grassroots level. That is exactly why we are trying to educate in all colleges and universities about these three important aspects: honesty, integrity, and transparency. Okay? Please keep all this in mind and then ensure that you don't get into the mode of fighting. Okay? With bureaucracy, fighting with system immediately. services in Mysore, in Karnataka, in KPTC, a lot of places in government services and students are there. But are they going to bring the change immediately? I don't expect. But they are going to bring the changes over a period of time. What we need to do is, there is an imbalance, right? Make this balance slowly and make sure that you get all these three values and embedded students up to the mark where this becomes a lawyer. You see the seesaw, right? Uyala ಆಗ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ, that is an excellent lesson for a life. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು 90 kg ಇರೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆ 20 kg ಇರೋ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಯಾವ ಕಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಎಳೀತಾ. ಬಟ್ ಅದೇ 20 kg ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 100 kg ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ obviously it is exactly what and how we need to bring the change in the system. Got it?
I'll move on to this slide wherein I just want to highlight this because when we spoke about national education policy, right, we got a chance actually to present a paper in IAS Bangalore. How many of you know IAS Bangalore? The Institute of Science, correct? IAS Bangalore. Have you seen IAS Bangalore? Have you seen? So, I mean, do you know what is IAS at least, or we know, you know IAS. So we got a chance to present a paper on our way of or mode of study, okay? And we presented it as well. So that is the picture and also the definition of the paper which we had presented. So with that, I mean, I'll not say because of us that happened, but we got a chance to present the way we study, the discussion mode of education, and that is part of national education policy which came out in 2020. So we are kind of very proud to say that mode of education came to government's notice and they have taken it as an education policy today. So when was this started? 1974. This was not started somewhere now and it brought in any change. So in Bhadravati started in 1974 and it has taken, I think, almost an era to come into government place or to become very positive on a government front. So that is where I think that would hold as an example where he said slowly things change or slowly things get adopted in any particular environment.
I just wanted to link back to your IAS aspiration. How many of you know public policy? It's one of the subjects in your curriculum, right? Public policy making. Okay. So like in education, the new policy was national education policy is being developed, right? That we contributed and then pedagogy became a part of it is a history. But public policy is something that will be evolving over a period of time, correct? Whatever is today, it may not be the same for tomorrow, correct? How you are going to assess whatever working today is going to be the same for next 10 years, correct? Being an administrative background, you guys should have that long-term vision. At least next 1 decade, what will be the aspirations in the public policy making? This is on the education services, right? And then, for example, you take up a real estate sector. So there is a new policy which was introduced called Real Estate Act, right? RERA, Real Estate Regulation Act, which was introduced in 2016 and which has become a policy in Karnataka in 2017. Some RERA office has been set up, right? That's one of the Real Estate Regulation Act which has been set up by the central government. And all of you know, any public policy which central government makes, it is the state which needs to implement. Correct? Agree with me? Depending on the issue. For example, real estate is a state subject. Correct? So central government makes a policy, whereas state has to implement it. And implementation depends on state to state. For example, there are some of the clauses in Karnataka land bill in Karnataka, which is not the same as the Bihar land bill or Uttar Pradesh land bill. Correct? Because land is a state subject and they frame the laws as per the aspirations and as per the interest of the people staying in there. Whether changes to be done at the policy level, yes, there will be a lot of discussions in Senate, a lot of discussion happens in the parliament, and later it will become a policy. And who are the policy makers? What do you think? Is the politicians are going to be the policy makers? They are the facilitators. Who are the policy makers? You are the policy makers. IAS officers, they are the one who works on the policy. But this is how our system works, right? Bureaucracy and politicians will work together to form this policy in the interest of people. Politicians will come for every 5 years, whereas bureaucracy, they stay for life. Understand the difference? policymakers are the bureaucrats. Who are the facilitators who acts as a bridge between the common man versus bureaucracy? It's a policy. So all these things has to work together hand in hand. If one of these things say that okay, I will not participate or I will not support, things will not work out. That is why there is a concept of working together, collaboration. This is very, very important to become a good administrator. Got what I'm saying? So it's very, very important. Collaboration between the authorities, collaboration between the bureaucracy versus your elected people representative is very, very important. In the interest of what? Not your interest, in the interest of general public. Okay?
I think the next slide, wherein we want to highlight on the centers, the DC centers we have today across Karnataka. So we discussed about how we had it in Bhadravati, right? So we started now, since we are giving scholarships across Karnataka, we have got a chance to meet people or meet students across Karnataka. And there are students who have volunteered and have started DC centers across Karnataka. So we have one in Bhadravati, which was already there. And we have Shimoga, which I said, right? Sinchana and Spandana. Those are the students. And they're enabled by our seniors, Dr. Raksha Rao and Rashmi Bhatt. And we also have Bhargavi, I think I spoke about her in Bhatbara. We also have it in Hosnagara, which is headed by Miss Mana. So all these are students. We are not having any senior person, okay, managing it. The students that started, I mean, in their vicinity only. I stay here, call some 2 to 3 people or 2 to 3 students who stay near to my place, start helping them, or they can also help you in a way. So that's where they started. In Bangalore, we have so many places, so many people who are managing it in different locations of Bangalore. Okay, in Tumkur, we have in Udupi, in Mysore, Hubli. So these are the locations where discussion class is running successfully. Okay. Outside India, we have our seniors who have been supporting our association, who are part of discussion class in Bhadravati. So they are now settled outside India and they kind of support all DC activities. And they even kind of tell their friends there about all the activities which happen here. So that is something we wanted to just put as a data. Yeah, this is the committee. So we have Dhananjay Anna, who is the founder and secretary of the committee. And we have Asha. She is none other than our student who was part of our association, who took support from our association, completed her engineering, and now she is in some reputed IT company where she's working, but now she's the president. So prior to her, we had one more student by name Sindhu. She was the first student who received a scholarship from our organization in 2013. Once she completed her education and came back to us, she was nominated as a president. So we have made sure our association is also run by students and not by us. Okay, students are part of it, because when we start growing old, we'll have some old ideas. When we have new people into it, we always have new things which are coming into picture. Okay, so this is the committee.
Okay, one thing I wanted to go back to this slide. Okay. So I think Archana was highlighting about a couple of students who are part of the executive committee. This is called executive body. Right? Any NGO will have an execution body. Right? This is required as part of a mandatory from Karnataka Society. Right? So a couple of people like Asha and Ramesh, both of them are students who receive scholarship and they are part of the executive body. What is the purpose of that? Anybody can tell why they have to come back to NGO and then be part of the committee? Anybody can tell? So that they can part of the system in changing. For example, if you take, if you are getting some knowledge through this academy, right? Later, once you become an IAS officer or IPS officer, if you don't give it back to the same organization where you gain the knowledge, then what is the use? You got what I'm saying? That is exactly what you're saying. Give back to society. But we have created a platform in our NGO where we kept 2-3 roles out of 7 dedicated to such people. We don't give it to everyone. Who are the best out of our 70-80 students every year that we intake, they will be part of the system. So we'll have a dedicated role for them, and also they will ensure that they run the organization for some time. You got what I'm saying? So whenever you are setting up any NGO or something like that, some of these ideologies that will come into picture when we design this NGO, how it has to operate, giving beneficiary all these bhagyas and everything to so many people, right? And then next year, your anticipation would be what? You will give to 200 people, or say this year you are giving to 100 people, right? Your aspiration is what? You have to give this to 200 people or less. What? Increase. Okay, how many of you say increase? Raise your hand. How many of you say underprivileged kids should get more in the next year? How many of you will say yes? This year, say for example, from government, there is something called backward welfare or some scholarship program that is running, right? You are a commissioner of that particular section. Today, there are 100 students who get the scholarships, right? What is your aspiration? Next year, you will make it 200. How many of you say you will increase the number? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Huh? Huh? No, raise your hand. How many of you will say you have to see more underprivileged kids? Nobody wants to see underprivileged kids, right? Everybody wants to be. Now, how many of you will say today there are 100 anath ashramas? Next year, my target is to increase 200 anath ashramas. No, that should not be an administrator job, right? You have to ensure culturally and morally people are enabled so that anath ashramas become less. But inevitably, there are some incidents happens in the life where it is inevitable. But there are cases where we have seen because of family conflicts among the husband and wife, kids are become orphaned. Husband lives somewhere else, wife lives somewhere else, and kid becomes okay. I am not going to live anywhere else. I'll let me go to the hospital. That is also kind of orphan. This is exactly what we want to bring in a change. Culturally, morally, we have to bring change in the system so that these things will reduce. Right? And nowadays, I think you must have seen the trend of increase of Vruddhashrama. Correct? Have you heard about Vruddhashrama in the past? This is one of the impact of fastness that we are seeing in the society. We are neglecting our elders. We have started neglecting our elders. Our own parents. We were not allowing our own parents to live with us. We are leaving them in a Vruddhashrama. Why is it? When we are small kids, right? ಊಟ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ದಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಬಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಊಟ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಊಟ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದಿನ ಊಟ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಅವರು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ವಯಸ್ಸಾದಾಗ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ? ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಾಗಲಿ ಗಂಡು ಮಕ್ಕಳಾಗಲಿ, ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಕಿಡ್ಸ್. ಹೌದಾ? So this is very important. Okay. As an administrator, you have to keep an eye on what is happening in and around your system, where the generation, where the younger generation are moving towards. How can I stop as an administrator? What policy I will make to make that transition not going in a wrong direction? So those are the thought process you should start envisioning once you become an administrator.
Okay. I think we're almost to the end of the slide and we have the contact details. This is just the address where we have registered. Now it's open for questions. If you have any questions, we can discuss on that. Questions or any thought which you want to share or you think something can be done, which maybe you can take up or maybe we can discuss and see if we can. Or anything which is happening in and around your place where you stay and you see this is very good, I should also join hands. Have you seen anything like that? Not here, in your native is also fine. Anything like that you have seen? Where do you all stay? You're not seeing anything?
Okay, tell me one challenge from each one of you, what you want to fix or what you want to bring the change. You are seeing something in and around you, right? What is that aspiration you want to become? See, let me ask in a different way. Why you want to become an IAS officer? Let me ask right away. Yeah? Now, IAS officer, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ? ನಾವು IAS officer ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು? ಅಥವಾ IPS officer ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? ನಾವು IAS officer ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು? ಈ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ why you want to become Jain Sir student? Pulveri sir, Jain is the director. So why you want to become? See, there is an entire team, not only Mr. or Jain sir. There are a lot of team behind this, right? So they have set up this environment for all of you to become an IAS officer or IT officer. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Their aspiration is different, but ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
How many of you have come on parental pressure?
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್, ನನ್ನ ಮಗನು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಟ್ರೈ IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್. ಅದಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ ನೋಡೋಣ, ಅದಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀನಪ್ಪ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡ ಅಂತ. ಹೌದಾ? ಅವನು ದಿಸ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಸೊ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ ವಿತಿನ್ ಯು ದಟ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಯು ಟು ಕಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಹೌದಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದ್ರಿ? What you have observed in your life, you want to create a change.
ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೆದರೋರು ಯಾರು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ ತರ ಹೆದರೋರು ಯಾರು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇದೊಂಥರ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ರೌಂಡ್ ರಾಬಿನ್. ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ರೌಂಡ್ ರಾಬಿನ್.
Your father is
right now he's in professional he cleared everything and went for the interview. At that time, 2 acres of land was missing. He sold it and gave it to the NGO. So at the end of the day, it got translated. That's good.
No, I think let's be honest with you guys. Exactly, some of the system is there. We know, understand the system. By the way, I work as a social activist in last 15 years. Okay, there is a system which is being built, but can we make a change? That is why our case said ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಒಂದೇ ಸಲ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ತರ 2 ಎಕರೆ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋರು ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾರು ಕಳ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋರೆಲ್ಲರೂ IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆಗಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಚೇಂಜ್.
He was struggling to become IAS. So presently we can see so many loopholes in the KCC. So we have a UPSC and we have a good financial. So still if there is a corruption and all that in KS, still we are from us. We have a UPSC, why don't I try?
ಸೊ ಅಪ್ಪನ ಬಲವಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ?
No, if I succeed in this, that's good. If I don't succeed, the normal life is already there. I'm ready to do it. But here,
Good point.
I mean, he wants to fulfill his father's dream.
Yeah, it's one of the aspirations. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ it is nowadays it is a common. ನಾನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಮಗನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ? ನಾನ್ ಭಯಂಕರ ಓದ್ತೆ, ನನ್ನ ಕೈ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ರೀಸನ್. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್, ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ. ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ? ಮನೇಲಿ ಕಾಮನ್. ನೀವೇನೇ ಕಾಮನ್? You want to become a district commissioner, collector. ನೀನೇನೇ ಕಮ್ಮ? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. What do you mean by higher level?
Higher level means I'm not telling about the posting or anything. You become the way of thinking becomes broader.
In IAS,
Not in IAS. Like what we do is we just go in a direction. Like we have to complete our master's and we look at our life. We don't see the society where we are living in. So it is our responsibility also to contribute something, whatever we can in our society. Then only
IAS for that. No, we have set up the NGO. None of us are involved. We are all IT private company employees. We are all laborers, white collar laborers, whatever you call, we are laborers. You tell me honestly what you want to become, okay? ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್. ನಾನು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಗಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹಿಂದೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಬ್ಬ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ,
ಕುಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ.
IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಮನೇಲೆ ಒಂದಿಬ್ರು ಕೆಲಸದವ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, 11 ಗಂಟೆ 12 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದುರು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ತರನೂ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬಾಬುವಾಲಾ is getting slowly going away because of changes happening in society. So ಆ ತರ aspirations ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, please correct yourself that ಬಾಬುವಾಲಾ is changing over a period of time. ಈಗ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, but it is changing over a period of time. ಗುರಿ ಅದ IAS ಆಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್, ಇವರು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಷ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. ಸೊ ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ರು ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸೂಪರ್. ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಎನ್ಶೂರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಯರ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. When you talk about honesty and integrity, it's not about changing the system. Honest with yourself. ಈ ವರ್ಷನೇ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸು. This year is what you have. Today is what you have, and put all your effort.
But actually, my mom had that already a problem. But they usually B class. They are usually a B class government servant, so they know what is the pressure. They always feel that my daughter should be on top. So
they want to bring in the system, change the system, but they cannot do because their bosses are not changing.
Yeah, that is the issue. And after that, I was not interested in government service. I literally was not interested, but because of my mom, dad, they said me what exactly the system. Then I usually worked for 1 year in a government sector. So after that, I got, if you want to change anything, you should need a power. First thing, you should have that power. You should have coordination, and then only you can change. If you don't have any power, you cannot change anything. You can say 100 people that I can do this, I can do that. But if you have power, you can control and you can change it. So
That is one of the important aspects why you want to become a good administrator. Because an administrator will have power to execute. An IAS officer, a district collector will have power to execute things. Right? If you execute things in a right way, it is useful for the society. If you execute in a wrong way, it will increase your asset. But one or the other way, ACG.
For this stage, when DC sir is Cholan sir, they supported me. Actually, they showed me a path. I was literally not knowing anything about this. After that, Somshikar sir guided me. So I'm here.
Excellent. I think you guys are in a safe hand in terms of best teacher. And as I mentioned to you, don't get into an IAS officer to change on the first day. Day one, can you bring in the change? Not possible. Please keep it in your mind, because I've seen a lot of people who have the aspirations. They will get frustration very easily because their aspirations are so high that frustration level also becomes so high. Understand the system and then try to negotiate with the system, collaborate with the system, try to slowly bring it.
Sir, I am from backward village.
Okay, which village is that?
Mallagatta.
Mallagatta. Ili?
Mandya.
Mandya. Okay.
In my village, there is no road, sir.
Okay.
Transport system is bus.
So you want to set up something basic infrastructure for your village. So administration ಆದರೆ you will have better control and
ಪವರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ನಮಗೆ ಅದ ಬೆಟರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಊಟ ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ, ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್. ನಾವು ಆ ಪವರ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಏರಿಯಾ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಾನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಸ್ ನಮ್ದು ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 8 ಗಂಟೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ
ಬೇರೆ MLAಗೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ವಾರ 15 ದಿನಕ್ಕೊಂದ್ಸಲ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಇವ್ರುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ರೋಡ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ I heard some news about somebody visiting a village and the road is getting clean.
ಸರ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ನಾವು ಪವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೆ
we'll get to that point. Yeah, next.
Sir, ನನ್ನ KS
ಏನಮ್ಮ?
KAS.
KAS, you want to do a case, why?
ಅಂದ್ರೆ IAS ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾನು, ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ.
ಅಕ್ಕ ಸರ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್, ಸೊ ನನಗೆ ಸರ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು.
ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್
ಸರ್ ನಂದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಮಡಿಕೇರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದ್ದು. ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಮಗೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಡೊನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಸ್ಯಾನಿಟೇಷನ್, ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೂ ನಾನು ಟೆಂತ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದೇ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದ್ದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಡೊನೇಷನ್ ಆ ರೀತಿ ನಾನು ನೋಡಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಗೈಡ್ ನನಗೆ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ತುಂಬಾ ನನಗೆ ಓದೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿಂದಲೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋದ್ರು ನನಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ತಾಲೂಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್, ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾನು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿದ್ದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸರಿ, ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸರಿ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇದೆ, ನಾನೇ ನನ್ನ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಣ್ಣನ ಜೊತೆ ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಮಿಂಗಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ರು. ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್, ಲವ್ ಫೇಲ್ಯೂರ್ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಸೂಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಮ್ಮಿ ಜೊತೆ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಏನೋ ಸೂಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನೋ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ನಾನು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅಣ್ಣಂಗೆ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಹಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನೀನ್ ಮಾತೇನು ಕೇಳಿ ನೀನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮಾತೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಕ್ ನೀನೇನ್ ಬೀಸಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ ನನಗೆ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನೀನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ ನಿನ್ ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೀನ್ ಬೀಸ.
ಈಗ ಅವಾಗ ಬಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಕೇಳ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ರು ಅಂತ.
ಅದು ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ನಾನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋರಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮಾರು ಹಂಗೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ನನ್ಗೆ IAS ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಮೈ ವಿಷನ್. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಲೈಕ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. IAS ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಐ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್. ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಬಂತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಪ್ಪ ಅಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಕಳಿಸಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರು. ಅದ್ರ ಬದಲು
ಒಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿ ಬೈಬೇಕಾ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ DC ಮಾತು ಕೇಳಿ ಅಂತ.
Now I can imagine what was your script that you used to write to the teacher. Excellent communication.
So actually like ನನ್ನ childhood dream ನಾನು CSI exam ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಕ್
ಯಾರು IPS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. You are the first person you say.
ಸೊ ನನ್ನ ಔಟ್ಲುಕ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ನಾನು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾನು 7th ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5.5 ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಗ್ರೋ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
Indian average girls I think 5.5.
ಸೊ ಆಗ ನಾನು 7th ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಬಟ್ ನನ್ನ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾನು CSI ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. CSI ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ CSI ನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಒನ್ಸ್ ಚಂದ್ರನಗರ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಧೀಶರನ್ನ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡುವಾಗ ಲೈಕ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ನಾನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ನ ತೆಗ್ದು ಹಾಕಿ ನಾನು ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು, ಯಾಕೆ ನೀನು ಡ್ರೀಮ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದೆ? ಸೊ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು 99.9% ಇರ್ಬೋದು, 1% ಲೈಕ್ ಆ ಥರ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾ ಲೈಕ್ ನಾನು
ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣೋ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್.
ಆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ನ ನಾನು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸರ್ಪ್ರೈಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದೆ. ಸೊ ಸರ್ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಇಂದ so it has jumped into UPSC. Right now
corruption control in police department is very
yes sir. Right now I'm actually maintaining triangle work. I'm an UPSC aspirant as well as I'm working as a women counselor in same police station, and as well as I'm an civil defense. I'm working in civil defense.
Okay, I think one of the important, sorry, I mean, Mukone is the last but not the least. IAS ಮನೆ
ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಏನಿದೆ ನೀನ್ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಕೈ ಅಥವಾ ಐತೆ ಆಗ್ಲೇ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ನೀವೇನಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು? ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರು, ಅದು ಅವ್ರ ಇಷ್ಟ. ನೀವೇನ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗಿಂತ ಹೈಯರ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರು ನಿನಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ.
ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಾರಿ
ಓ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
ಮನಿ ಮನಿ ಯಾವ ತರ ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಮನಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಕಡೆ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮನಿ.
ಹಂಗೆ ಎರಡು
ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮನಿ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮನಿ.
ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದೇ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ನು ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇಂದ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ದುಡಿಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡಿಯೋಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡಿಯೋಲ್ಲ. ಪವರ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ. That is the point. Not the money which comes under the table. ಇಲ್ಲ, this has seen with some aspirants also. They want to be an IAS because they can meet them. ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ IAS ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ವೈ ಐ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಹ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಮೆಸೇಜ್ಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ನಾನು ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಮನೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇದೆ, ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಸರೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತ ಇರೋ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ? ಇನ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಚೇಂಜ್. ಇವಾಗ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನು IPS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಊಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಹೌ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್, ಎನಿಬಡಿ ನೋ ಹೌ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್? ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಒಂದು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳ್ಳತನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ an example which happened in 20 days back. I don't want to take the names, but I want it came in Times of India. One live example. ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಆಗಿದೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಕಳ್ಳತನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 500 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಚಿನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಯಾರು ನೀವು ಇಲ್ದಲೇ ಇರೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಯಾಮಾರಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವನು ಕಳ್ಳ ಎತ್ತಕೊಂಡು, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಕಳ್ಳ ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅವನ ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಎನಿಬಡಿನೋ ಅವನ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕರಗಿಸಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಎನಿಬಡಿನೋ ಅವು ಇದು ಹೆಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಕಳ್ಳ ರಾಬರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, 500 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಎತ್ತಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾವ ಒಬ್ಬ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇವನ ಹತ್ರ ಅಂಗಡಿಯವನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನ ಕರಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಯುವೆಲ್ರಿ ಏನ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗಾನ್. ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಯುವೆಲ್ರಿ ನೀವು ಹಾಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಯಾವ ಶೇಪ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇವಾಗ ಆ ಶೇಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾಳೆ ದಿನ ಈ ಜ್ಯುವೆಲ್ರಿ ನಂದು ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಡುಕ್ತೀರಾ? ವೇರ್ ಡು ಯು ಫೈಂಡ್? ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಡೂ ಇಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಎ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಕಳ್ಳತನ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಹೌದಾ? ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವ್ರು ಹುಡುಕಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಕಳ್ಳ. ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಕಳ್ಳರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎತ್ತಾಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಎತ್ತಾಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಕಳ್ಳತನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ನೀನು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, CCTV ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗಾಗಲೇ ಕರಗೋಗಿದೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಅವಾಗೇನಾಯ್ತು, ಈ ಕಳ್ಳತನ ಮಾಡಿದ ಒಂದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಯ್ತು, ಕಳ್ಳತನ ಜ್ಯುವೆಲ್ರಿ ಶೇಪು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಎ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಕಳ್ಳ ಸಿಗಾಕೊಂಡ, CCTV ಬಂತು, ಯಾರು ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕ ಮನೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು, ಯಾರು ಕಳ್ಳ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸಿಗಾಕೊಂಡ. ಆವಾಗ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಪೊಲೀಸರು. ಆಗ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೆ ಕಣ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಫುಟೇಜ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ, ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತಿರೋ ಚಿನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತಿರೋ ಇದಿದೆ, ನೀನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂತ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ನು ಕಳ್ಳ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ರಾ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. 500 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೀವು ಚಿನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ವೇಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ, ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 25% ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು 300 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸರ್ ಅವನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಬರೀ 200-300 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ 200-300 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಯಾರು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರಾ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದೇ ತರ ನಿಮ್ದು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಏನ್ ಚಿನ್ನ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಶೇಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಕೇಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಕೈಲಿ ಕರಗಿಸಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಇವಾಗ ಕಳ್ಳ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ಅಂಗಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರಗಿಸ್ತಾನೆ ಚಿನ್ನನ. ಆ ಚಿನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಗಿಸಿದ್ನೋ ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, 500 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಚಿನ್ನ ಕರಗಿಸಿದ್ಯಾ, ನಿನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಬುಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ 500 ಗ್ರಾಮಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅಂತ ದುಡ್ಡು ತೆಗಿತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಗಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ತರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಒಂದು ನಾನು ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹಾನೆಸ್ಟಿ ಆಗಿ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸಂಬಳ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಸಂಬಳ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಒಬ್ಬ IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ಗೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ಒಬ್ಬ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ 35,000-40,000 ಸಂಬಳ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ನಾನು ಲಂಚ ಯಾಕೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ದೃಢ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ 3 ಐಟಮ್, ಆನೆಸ್ಟಿ, ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆನ್ಸಿ, ಈ 3ನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಈ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ನಾವು ಹಾಕಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಓವರ್ ಎ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ? ಸೊ ಫಾಲೋ ದೀಸ್ 3 ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ successful administrators in your life.
Yeah, so I just want to put this slide back because there is something called target 100. You can see that right at the end. So this is something our sir always taught us, that 100% is your target, irrespective of what exam you write or whatever you do in your life. 100% is your target. Later on, if you fail, that doesn't matter. But when I'm studying for something, always keep in mind 100% is my target, and I'm sure all of you will clear. That is something our sir taught us and something which I want to highlight. So always keep in mind 100% is my target. So put an effort of 100% from your side, rest will fall in place. And to end with, I'll just tell a shloka, maybe which will inspire with whatever he explained. So Vidya dadati vinayam, vinaya dati patrat. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinaya dati patratam, patratvam dhanamapnoti, dhanat dharmam tatas sukham. Anybody knows the meaning? Vidya dadati vinayam. So whatever we study today will have to give us humbleness. If I'm not humble after studying so many things, there is no point of that education. Vidya dadati vinaya. So vinaya, we get a patratva, we get a role in life. You do your UPSC exam, you get onto a role. Correct? Patratvam dhanamapnoti. You get money. For whatever work you do, you'll get some money. Dhana dharmam tatas sukham. Only when you follow dharma with whatever you're earning, only then you can be happy in life. With that, I would like to end. Thank you.
How many times you were hit by Dhananjay Kumar sir? How many times you were hit by Dhananjay Kumar sir? 5 times. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ? Yeah, what is that 5 times? Huh? Okay. Honesty, integrity and transparency. HIT. HIT. That is what is required for an administrator, right? So he repeated many times, and that many times is required, even more times required for you, right? Anyway, I thank you, Archana and Dhananjay sir. How many of you feel like they said the very silly things, play distribution, plastic cup things? How many of you felt just because they are here, you are saying like that, or after class we'll say that, yeah, what sir they said, the small things? Actually, this was the actual purpose. Every day in the class we talk about so many big things, right? Idea, policy level, okay, what is the climate change, Paris climate, Paris Accord,
So, but in ground, how that can be achieved? Correct? That can be achieved through those small things only. Small things only can change that. So that will become successful only after these small things. So if you are able to realize that, actually this session is successful. Are you getting the point? By signing the Paris Accord, climate change will not be stopped. By doing these things, climate change will be correct. If you are able to, because I wanted you people to know how actually in the field the NGOs will work. Correct? Only you are seeing like NGOs will work, funds will come to them, correct? And some regulations are there, they will misuse, correct? But if an NGO works properly, so what it can do? So that is the example of this Discuss Class Association. I'm not telling just because Archana is my friend. I'm not telling because of that. Actually, I'm watching that. Okay. So after watching for 1 year, then I felt okay. So they may deliver something which is useful for our students. So if you feel that, okay, we'll also organize such things in future also. Okay. So you need to realize that small things, big things, it is easy to talk. Okay. Yes, we'll change. So he also mentioned corruption. We'll eliminate corruption. From the small things you start, automatically on fine day it will vanish. Correct? At least in the ground level, the corruption because of some sakala, some things, yes, it has improved, right? I'm not telling on the top level it has gone. So that is small thing only. One software for the delivery of services, on-time delivery of services, is eliminating corruption. It is not something big, not a revolution, right? So please understand that, and you can also, because service means, many of you think that, some people think that whatever they do in Swachh Bharat Abhiyana, that is not the only service. I always believe you people can do, so you are here, 10, 15 people, right? It is as good as having 1,500 people like other people compared to means common man if you are attending a seminar like this, okay? Because you can do much more than that. That's what I believe. And you are having the capacity to, right? Okay. Once again, I feel really it was a good session. Okay. I hope you enjoyed. Okay. And I think you can prepare for next, what is the time now? Okay, this class will end up here. Okay, and current sir class you can come back 2:30.
Any questions ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ? Any questions you guys have? Any questions from your side? See, it's always been one-sided, right? In discussion, it's not like that. You should ask questions. And ಅದಕ್ಕೆ I wanted to be more interactive. ನಿಮ್ಮ aspirations, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ I want to understand your aspirations. ಏನಾದ್ರು questions ಇದೆಯಾ? You guys have any questions? And ಈಗ ಮೂರು ಪದ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ honesty, integrity and ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇವನೇನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದಾನ? ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ಯಾರೋ ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆನ್ಸಿ, ಆನೆಸ್ಟಿ, ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ ಏನೋ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಆನಂದ್ ಮಗ ಅವ್ನ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾನ? ಐ ಆಮ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್, ದ ವೇ ವಿ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಅವರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್. ವಿ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್, right? So to answer to your question, if you go to Facebook page, Discussion Class Association, every week whatever activity we do, it will be live, it will be updated to keep transparency in the activities. So second way of transparency on the funding side. If you go to our website, www.discussionclass.org, internet connect ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? Website. So in our website, we publish our objectives, we publish our activities. Activities may not be so regular, but financial ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಆಡಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಯಾವ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಖರ್ಚಾಗಿದೆ, ಅದು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷದ್ದು AGM ಮಾಡಿ ಅದ್ರ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ www.discussionclass.org. ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ www.discussionclass.org. ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ IAS. ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆನ್ಸಿ ತರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ನೀನ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ 3 ಬೆಟ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ reports ಅಲ್ಲಿ annual reports ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So annual reports ಅಲ್ಲಿ starting from 13, 14 is when our existence. 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, everything is there. ನಾವು ಆ ವರ್ಷ ಏನೇನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, all activity reports are there. Okay. So last year latest one ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ 1920 2021 ಇನ್ನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, because AGM ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. After AGM then we publish the report. So ಆ ವರ್ಷ ನಾವೇನೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, what was our activities, what were our objectives, who are the committee members, who are the financial auditing, ಅದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಏನು, ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಈಚ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ and go back next summary. So really if you can see how many NGOs that you see this much of transparency. ಯಾವ student ಗೆ which standard, what is his percentage, what is his family background, where he is from, and how much money he paid. We keep such a transparency so that people should know where the funds are going. ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು NGO-ಗಳಿಂದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಾಲ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. You must have heard about some of the concepts, right? But there are really some NGOs who are doing on the ground, on the real world. This is called transparency. This is what we want to bring. When I realize there is something wrong in the system, how can I fix it? If I want to fix it, nobody ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So this is we started publishing wherever it is, and we have all the students like that.
How do you select the students? And what
We do a assessment. First we roll out an application online. Application submit ಮಾಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ we select their family background details, academic details, and then where they are from, and then we send our volunteers to their home to inspect. We do a inspection, that is called transparency in the system. So we go to their home, ensure they are the real needy people. Next, LLA activities ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಯಾವ ಡೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. So everything is up to date with the date.
ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
This is called transparency.
They have a kind of
Yeah.
there's a friend of mine, he doesn't have father. His mom is in doctor. His dad is two brothers.
Probably it is individual and it is separate. You can give my number. Then we'll discuss it in the interest of everybody. If any other arrow, if you identify such student, why not? That's why we are here. Okay. We'll do that.
So this is an example of where we visit their
So our ಮನೆಗಳಿಗೆ
verify.
we go to their home and receive the application.
Yeah, we do that. We personally go and see this is here.
So we ensure that we go to the place and verify they are the real one. Okay, next one. So it is very clear. It's all there. Financial
last ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ
I'll eat everything. So reports ಅಲ್ಲಿ annual reports ಆಯ್ತು. Next is financial auditor reports. So ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ, ನಿಮ್ ದುಡ್ಡು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂತಪ್ಪ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದಿರ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಒಬ್ಬ CA ಹತ್ರ ಆಡಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು we get all these financial updates. So last year AGM ಏನಾಯ್ತು, immediately that will go into the data. Anybody can go and check. AGM ಅಂದ್ರೆ annual general body meeting ಅಂತ. ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು NGO or any organization should have a AGM, annual general body meeting ಅಂತ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು they will assess what activity you have done in organization, and then who are the committee members, and then if committee members need to be changed, it will be proposed in the AGM, and then new body will be adopted. New version we adopted a new body. There are some people who will continue, and then some people will be fresh. Okay, and then reports there is one more part, brochure. If somebody wants to refer to their CSR fund, so they can directly go there and get the brochure. Okay, so this is how we can keep a transparency. Okay, how do you make sure integrity? It's all our integrity by heart. You don't need to show it to somebody else. For example, for any programs wherever we go, we don't charge back to the organization as an expense. What does it mean? Today we are here, I driven by my own personal car and put the diesel on my personal money, not by the organization. Because I want to talk to you students, and this I consider as a service that I am giving back to society to on three aspects, to educate you on three important aspects: transparency, honesty, and integrity. ನೀವು 10 ಜನದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 2-3 ಜನ once they become an IAS, they follow that. So ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಖರ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತೆ. But I will put it from my own things. That I feel it is I am doing it for my own self-interest. ನನ್ನ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ, not for somebody else. So this is called integrity. I don't need to show to anyone. ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. If you go to any NGO, ಯಾವ ತರ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ, NGO ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಪರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಒಂದು 10 ಕಾರ್ಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ NGOs ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ 10 ಕಾರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇವರೇ NGO ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಅವ್ರು ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಡೊನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರೋ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಬರೀ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. It is exactly what I am telling you. Corruption is everywhere. But how do you fix it? You have to step down and do it by yourself. And some of the areas that you aspire to become. I am not a social activist by birth. I become a social activist to make changes within my limits. Can I become an IAS officer? So because of my age, I cannot. Okay. But I had an aspiration to become. But I thought even if I don't become an IAS officer, I can still bring change in the society. That is exactly with the like-minded people we form this organization. But is it my regular job? No. I need to feed my family. I have my mother. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. For that, what I am doing, I am working for a company called NGO. I am the director and head of a business unit. The company gives me very good salary, whatever you are saying, maybe 5 times or 6 times higher than that. So, ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ 4-5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಸಂಬಳ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. But we are all working on a ground level. We go and meet all these people, but we want to enable them to come to us. And ನಾವೇನು ಚಿನ್ನ ಸ್ಪೂನ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿರೋರಲ್ಲ. I lost my father when I was a student. Even for a single rupee, I struggled and come up to this stage and standing in Canada. I got scholarship from some NGOs and returned it back. And I thought, why don't we start something of similar which can help others? Today, what I'm here, it's all because of my teacher. He is the one who guided in a right direction. That is exactly why I always tell you, identify your mentor, your teacher, your guru. Luckily, you have an excellent teacher here. Okay, it is very important. If you want to succeed in life, follow the guru's footsteps. Follow the direction. Will he take to the entire end? No, he will give direction. Will give a direction, you go in this way. Choosing a path is left to you. If you take a right path, you will succeed. If you take a wrong path, saying that I want to become an IAS officer because I want to earn more money. I think money can be done anywhere else. In IT also you can earn, in non-IT teaching profession, everybody earns money. But your aspiration is to do the service. Keep it in mind. Money can be earned anyways. Right? ನರೇಗಾ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ 205 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. You don't need to go anywhere else. 205 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ and directly get into your account. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಮೆನು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮುಂಚೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ದುಡ್ಡು ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ 15 ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ. Correct? You don't need to go anywhere else. But why you want to become an IAS officer? To have a power to do the right things at right place. Please keep it in mind. Sorry.
That's one part. This is nothing with respect to the organization we run or something which I see in the place and something which I feel needs a change. I mean, mainly on the transgender part, whom we see on the roads, who kind of beg for their living, and the way or the stigma which we have when we look at them. I think I have not done anything in that regard. I'm trying to find if there is somebody who is actually working for them, I would really kind of go there and support. But I would like to put that into your mind, because going forward we will become officers who will have some power. At least try to kind of reduce the begging on the transgender part. Let them get equal opportunity the way we are getting, because there is nothing wrong in the way they are born. It's how God created us. They are also created like that. So do something. I mean, if there is anything you guys know and if you will kind of start something, I will definitely be with you. Like something which I see every day and I really feel bad. Maybe nothing of that we have done. I'm not saying, I'm not claiming anything. I'm just seeing something which I see every day and I really feel bad whenever I stop my scooty in any signal. So let's kind of do something. I don't know. I don't have any idea on what to do, but every time when I see them, I feel I should do something. So maybe one of you can kind of do when you have some power.
Thank you, Archana. Actually, I expected you people to ask technical questions also, but I don't.
Please ask any questions, okay? I am in IT. but I'm a social activist.
Technical
for
means
years. I
regarding
work with
NGO.
policy making, and I work with the RERA authorities on some of the issues that we are facing in RERA. I work with some of the education policy making also. Where education and making them to wear a dress is a challenge. The tribal community has evolved over a period of time because of the effort done by some of these Vanavasi ashramas, and also Tata Trust. How many of you know Tata Trust? Is one of the main sponsor and the supporter for bringing this tribal community to upfront and to give basic facilities. Of making them to wear a dress was the biggest challenge when all this movement has started. Making them to come to the school, that is the biggest challenge. What they want is food. Somebody giving a free food, they will be happy. And because of this modern afforestation and all, they are losing their existence. That is one of the biggest challenge what we have seen. Even the civilized society has gone inside the forest. Forget about the tribal community. Even the animals, the wild animals are unable to live. If you go to Banavita Road, a lot of farmhouses and other things are happening, and you see coming out and tiger is coming out and getting inside the hospital. Why is it happening? We have to live in a civilized society, and